Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me. I'm Rob. And I was almost on time today. That's a
Almost on time, I took us. It was 9:03, and I'm texting you, coming. Don't even try to lie to the fans.
Whoa,
okay?
I was on.
You lie to whoever you want. You do not lie to the fans, damn it.
I was on at 9:03.
Yep.
Because I was sitting here when we're talking going, oh, you just texted me.
Let's see. I texted you at 9:05.
As we were talking.
On my phone. No, I texted you coming as you were already in the room. Don't you lie to the fan base.
I was almost on time.
It's all right, guys. I have your back. You know who's on time and who's not. When Rob's on the show, the time show starts at 9:00. Like it's supposed to.
You said it was 9:05.
No, I said 8:55. Coughlin rules, damn it. We're a Giant show. Coughlin rules. All right, guys. We have a lot of things to do here today and go over besides just ridiculing Rob for his punctuality. So we got actually a little surprise segment here that I wasn't even planning on having today, guys. But kind of things are irking me. And you know what things irk me? I rant. So it's time to rant.
Ooh.
So, listen, we've had a lot of talk about the Giants and their dinner they had with Russell Wilson and all the offense and everything. And listen, I don't want to put down any particular Giants content creators because the one that actually put over the top is one I actually like. So, again, this isn't directed towards anybody specific. This isn't meant to be negative towards other content creators whatsoever. Let me give you the background, though, first, real quick. So, Russell Wilson posted a picture, and I'm going to apologize. It's a little bit pixelated. This is a last-minute topic I wasn't even planning on doing here. But there he is with all the team, the offense there. It's his dinner and a good time with the fellas, O-line, running backs, and quarterbacks. Now, listen, guys. Every single year, guess what happens? Teams go out to dinner. I've seen so many people the team's going out to dinner together. The team.
Surviving.
Things are different this year. They're going out to dinner. What, they skipped dinner last? Is that what happened?
The conversation would be had if they didn't have a dinner.
Guys, if you think that's the success to a winning franchise, that's the key to success there. Guess what? The Giants had a pizza party when Joe Judge got fired. Literally. I remember that very specifically. People all went over his house. He had a big pizza party for the whole team to thank them for the work that they did while he was the head coach. And all of the players showed up. Was that team good? They ate together. That's the key, apparently.
Who doesn't like pizza?
I mean, listen, I get it. We are grasping at straws. We are so desperate for a sign of something positive from this team. And I get it. I really do. And I'll be honest that I'm probably guilty of it myself at times. But I'm not going to go, whoa, they ate dinner. The chicken franchise and the creme brulee is what's going to put this team together. No. What's going to put this team together is good coaching talent and developing players.
Yes. You don't develop players at dinner. You might be, maybe sexy Dex. You give them a little more girth.
Oh, look, Dexter Lawrence had the rack of lamb. Here comes his Defensive Player of the Year award.
Yeah.
Stop.
Get that man some gnocchi bolognese, man. He needs a nice hearty meal.
By the way, that was days ago, and people are still talking about it, too. I get it. It's the slow time of the year and stuff, too. So people are just grasping for stories to talk about. But goddamn, I get it. We had dinner. That doesn't mean a thing. Doesn't mean we're double-digit wins coming. It doesn't mean we're going to the playoffs. It doesn't mean we'll be even good at all this year. It just means the team had dinner. That's all it means.
Yeah.
It's remember the old shoe commercial back in the day with Charles Barkley? He's like, these are my shoes. They won't make you jump like me. They won't make you run like me. They won't make you dunk like me. You just have my damn shoes.
Yeah,
Like
that
that's
man
what I
is
feel like this is. Like it may be the same type of team dinner that a successful franchise has. It doesn't make the Giants now a successful franchise because they went to dinner.
it could though.
Oh yes.
Have you news?
See,
It
and you
could.
froze on me right as you were trying to make ridiculousness. I don't even know what you said.
It could. Haven't you heard the news lately?
What
It
news?
could. That they went to dinner.
Oh yes, they all went to the Golden Corral. Woohoo!
Yeah,
All
just the lines.
six are the key. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
not be that franchise that like has a fan base that clings on to the smallest little things like that. I can't for the life of me see that and go team's gonna win because they had dinner. And and again, like I said, there's content creators I respect that are talking about it. So again, I'm not even trying to disrespect anybody here. I get it. We're all looking for optimism. Look somewhere else. Look at the quarterback room and go, okay, Daniel Jones is gone, and there's 3 guys here better than him now. Look at the running back room and say, okay, great, Cam Scatterboot, great, combo to go with Tyrone Tracy. Look at what can the second year of Malik Neighbors do? What can this new defense do with Abdul Carter, Paulson Adebo, Javon Holland, Alexander, all these guys? That's if you want to grasp at straws, grasp at those straws.
yeah, hands down.
Those are the safe paper straws, not the plastic ones that kill the ocean like this dinner. Because that's what's killing the ocean.
That's it. Just the plastic.
Just the straws, nothing else.
Listen, that turtle is a cokehead. We all know it. It's his own fault.
Well, I guess they don't have a lot of Pepsi out in the ocean, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, let's get to actual Giants news here. I guess I just had to go to a little rant there because I can't believe it's a conversation. All right, let's talk about the one that everybody is talking about here. Jaire Alexander. Is he going to be a target for the Giants? For those who haven't heard, he was officially released by the Packers there. Actually, I should say it was announced he's going to be released. Has he actually fully been released yet? I don't even know yet. But okay, no, it is official. I did look it up to verify. It is official 5 hours ago, so about 4:00 in the afternoon here on Monday, whereas you heard about it all day Monday morning about him getting cut. So I want to make sure it's actually official. It is official. Jaire Alexander is officially a free agent here. And there was a lot of talk about the Giants potentially looking to trade for him in the last year. Obviously, we've all known that the Packers haven't exactly been very happy with him lately. Obviously, there was the whole suspension for the coin toss thing a couple of years ago, which didn't exactly, make him a favorite of the front office, that's for sure. Well, he's officially cut, guys. He's officially released. He's officially available, and you still see Giants fans talking about him. Now, here's my biggest issue with this. And Rob, obviously, you are dating a Packers fan, so you probably have a little more insight to this than I do on what Jaire Alexander's done the last couple of years. But he's missed 34 games in the last 4 seasons. 34. Damn.
Yeah.
It's like he's already a Giant. It's saying like that's a lot of games, guys. That's a lot of games. Like, am I crazy? Like, is that too much? Like, you're talking like you've missed more than 2 seasons, or I guess that is 2 seasons now with the 17 games. Definitely. That's 2 seasons. You missed half the games over the last 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much. Sorry. Oh yeah, I mean,
there's Jake. You go with the comments. I see him there.
It's very easy to overlook Alexander just because like he just hasn't played. Like it's hard to judge a talent when he hasn't really played a full healthy year. I think it was 1 year, right? His freshman year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with him, and it's like, I look at the fact that he's going to probably get a lot of money. Whoever signs him is probably going to give him a decent amount of money. And I think he makes sense for some teams. Like if you're a team that's like missing like a like a corner, like this is the missing piece to becoming like a great team, then yeah, I get it. Take the risk, take the shot.
I think it's more like looking for the depth.
No, but what I'm saying is I do get that though. But this guy was getting paid. His cap number, by the way, this year is $24 million before they cut him. That's what his cap number is going to be. So they saved $7.5 million. They ate $17 million to get rid of him.
Yeah, that's an issue.
That tells you guys there's stuff going on. Now he is 28 years old, so he's still in the prime age for a corner there. He also had a 75.2 PFF grade, which, especially considering he was injured half the year as he is every year, that's really not bad at all. Definitely not worth a $25 million cap hit, but it's a whole separate,
yeah, that's different.
It's a whole separate scenario here. I don't know. I look at where we're at. Like, you got obviously Paulson Debo now is your number one corner. So you got Deontay Banks number two. You got obviously Andrew Phillips as your slot corner. Where would Jaire Alexander even fit? And the second it broke, guys, every single Giants content pretty much creator that does articles. I say it that way because there's people like us that just do videos and we don't have time for articles. But there's everybody that writes articles. Should Jaire Alexander be a Giant? Let's sign Jaire Alexander. He could be a great piece of the secondary. First off, he's a half piece because he misses half the games.
Yeah.
And second, who are you benching? You just paid Paulson Debo a ton of money. You're not going to bench him. Deontay Banks, first round pick. You want to bench him? Drew Phillips played really good his rookie year there. You want to bench him? Who are you benching? Now, I get it why some fans will say Banks in a heartbeat. I really want to.
You're not benching Banks. You're not benching Banks.
No, but I said I'll understand people that say that. I really will, because of all the issues of him taking plays off last year, and all the issues with the the dogging it against the tackling there against the Eagles and the issues in the sidelines against the Steelers, I believe it was that game.
Yeah.
I get that. But it's his third year, which is for most rookies your make or break year. So don't break it before the season even starts. To go ahead and kill his confidence even more. Overpay for a guy who can't stay healthy. And then when he gets hurt, you get forced to Banks to go back in the field at that point. That's just not a good scenario, guys. That's not a winning scenario. And again, he's 28 years old. He's at the prime of his career at 28. I'm not trying to say he's old at 28. I wish I was 28 again.
I know, right?
My knees wouldn't be killing me like they are right now. But it's like, I feel like by the time the Giants are good, I mean, would it be crazy for you to say that if things progress well, you're probably 2 years away from being a legitimate good team? Is that crazy, Rob? Or
yeah, I mean, a Super Bowl, yes.
Well, that's what I mean. That's all I care about. I couldn't give a damn about. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoy getting the playoffs. I enjoy getting playoff wins, but I care about the Super Bowl. That's what I want. We're at least a couple years away. So, you said we were 30 at that point?
Yeah, I mean, you still could be like, I don't want to say in your prime, but still very effective.
30-year-old corner with injury issues. How well is that going to go, do you think?
Probably not so well. I'm just saying.
Exactly. So, let's focus on where we should be focusing. Developing Banks, seeing what he becomes, and take it from there as we should. And don't even think about benching Phillips because I'll be ticked off. He had such a good rookie year.
You can't do that to him.
Can't do it. So, all right, let's get our next segment here. But before we do, Rob, did you just get back from Applebee's as Jay is suggesting here?
No, man, I haven't been at Applebee's since they used to give away the free UFC fights.
Listen, we're the generation that killed Applebee's. First off,
Listen, when you talked about like those half price appetizers during UFC fights and $2 Miller Lights, boom, sold.
Miller Lights.
Listen, $2, beer's a beer at that point.
You have to pay me $2 to drink that beer.
Oh, we're gonna drink Bud Light.
No, nothing with the word light in it.
What else are you getting for $2?
I don't care. I'll pay more.
Yeah.
Get me a Yingling on tap. Let's go.
Listen, I'm much rather have Yingling, but
Just saying, like, honestly, that's my
Listen.
go-to here at the bars here in Florida because Yingling, people always think of Pottstown, obviously. That's the big brewery they have. But the all in the South, it actually comes out of Tampa.
oh,
There's a second brewery here in Tampa. It's actually right outside of USF. So there's it's a big beer for a lot of the bars to have for that reason. And it's always like $3 for a beer. So it's like, by the way, Florida's also much cheaper for beer than Jersey is.
I
Part
was
of
gonna
it.
say because we don't really have that anymore.
Liquor
But-
licenses. We can't give you a license for liquor. Why would you do that? Just give it.
Yeah,
Do it. Florida's a little different like that.
Yeah. I just know like Yingling, especially like those days, it was way cheaper. Well, way cheaper.
Like I
to go
said,
out,
it's a
but
good beer. It's not an amazing beer, but it's a good beer.
It's a good cheap beer.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like that. And Jason's Yingling
And
is an East Coast thing. Nobody has on the West Coast. I've heard
Is
that.
that- That is not true, but I was going to get there. It's scarce out there. My
Yeah.
mother's from Sacramento area,
Yes.
and one of the times when I used to go out to UFC and all the time at Applebee's, I would go out there, and they wouldn't have it. But you can find it at some stores.
It's like is Applebee's
But-
like Applebee's? I mean, Yingling like the reverse of like Smokey and the Bandit with the cores
California
you
Love.
couldn't get.
Was that?
Is that like remember Smokey and the Bandit? Like the whole thing was getting cores over the border because you couldn't sell it east of the Mississippi.
Is it?
Yes, that was the whole premise of Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh.
By the way, I want to say it was Dwight D. Eisenhower used to keep a whole entire drawer for a course in the White House in the Oval Office because you literally were not supposed to have cores east of the Mississippi back in the day. I'm not sure the exact legality reasons why. I don't understand it, but literally it was illegal to transport it from one side to the other.
Huh.
We can look this up later. See if I'm actually
Yeah.
remembering beer history correctly here.
I'm
So
pretty
if I'm
like,
wrong,
Coors Light,
somebody
of course,
feel free to put in the
Banquet.
comments, or if somebody wants to validate it, let's go ahead and put it on there. And let me know. But let's get back to the next topic here because we also got to talk about Gabe Davis. And listen, this has been a topic for a little while there. It's probably going to be until he signs with somebody. And he's now visiting the Saints. Obviously, he visited with the Giants last month. He also visited with the Steelers and the 49ers. And who knows who else, let's be honest, because not everything gets confirmed and not everything leaks out there. Depends on how good the teams are about keeping things close to their chest and, quite frankly, if they want to. But, yeah, so that's his fourth visit coming up now. Listen, I know he's coming back off an injury, I've heard. That's kind of slowing this down to a certain degree as well. I got to say, is it weird that for once I go into like, oh no, a wide receiver we want is going to another team to go visit? Who cares? You want to really play for the Saints as a wide receiver? Like, I think this is the first time I can say the Giants are a better scenario for a wide receiver than another team. I feel like it's been forever since I've been able to say that. Who's starting for the Saints? Spencer Rattler, probably. At this point. Or Tyler Shuck. Didn't they get Tyler Shuck?
They did, but I don't know.
Let's be a three quarterback race with what's his name? Jay Hafner. They got a couple years ago as well, I heard.
Yeah, but I mean, pretty sure that front office knows what they have.
Listen, Daniel Jones could start in New Orleans right now.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is, guys. Like, I'm not worried about this at all. Go visit New Orleans. Go have your gumbo and your shrimp and grits.
Maybe that's why he went.
Listen, it's not a bad idea. I mean, I was talking about going to the game this year, and partially why I wanted to go was for that reason. Though, we'll let you guys know when it's all finalized. I am now talking about going to Jersey instead, potentially the Chargers game. But again, once that gets finalized, we'll let you guys know for sure. For those who might want to meet up and hang out with the Goofballs here. But yeah, that's like I said, it's all craziness there. Now, Jay, being the Christmas fairy again here, gifted 5 2 Giant Goofballs memberships there to people that are in the chat. I do see there are more than 5 people watching live right now.
Yeah.
So if they have not, because Jay says, I hope there are 5 people here. We got 19 people watching live right now overall with us here. So listen, if you're on a different platform, you can pop over there, take advantage of Jay's generosity. He's a good guy like that. And much appreciation to you, man, for that. This is why we let him make fun of us. No, in all seriousness, we're sarcastic bastards. He fits right in. It's okay.
Yeah, love
it. But yeah, we got sidetracked here. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, I have no problem with Gabe Davis going to New Orleans. I still think I'm mixed on Jay's cracking me up now. He says my neighbors are like 60 and think Rob is Tom Selleck sexy. But it's like a full beard he has, it's not a mustache. He needs just the mustache. Like a thicker mustache as well.
Well, I just trimmed up the mustache. Yeah,
but he does have the Hawaiian shirt on. Maybe that's what he's referring to.
This is the shirt I wear when I sell vacuums.
Anyway, back to football. Oh, let's pop Ritalin. Let's go for it. We got this. Anyway, again, he can go visit there. I have no problem with that. Listen, if you choose, if you choose going to New Orleans with that quarterback room over the Giants, then one of 2 things happen. Either the Giants really didn't want you, or you just lost your sanity test.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you picked the Steelers or the Niners, I would understand. If you picked the Saints, then yeah. That just tells me all I need to know about you as a player. Sorry. No offense, Saints fans. I know you've been through a lot lately.
Well, at least they have Aaron Rodgers.
So, like I said, we'll see. I think, listen, he's going to keep on visiting until somebody gives him an offer, basically, that he can't refuse. Not to quote the Godfather here.
Give him an offer for a vacuum. It sucks.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway. Let's talk about our biggest loss of this offseason. So, was Jason Pinnock a huge loss? Because that's what we're hearing now. And
hindsight,
this is would I like to have him? Sure. I think he's a good backup safety / starter. Like if you had to put a third safety on the field, I wouldn't mind having him for that. You know, like he's not a bad guy to have around. That's for sure. He can do a whole lot worse. But Jared Dubbin of the CBS Sports Network there named him our biggest loss, and I hope it's Dubbin and not Dubin. I don't know. They don't spell it phonetically on the websites.
Dubin,
but he said Pinnock played 95% of New York's defensive snaps in each of the last 2 seasons. He was seemingly less effective the more he got on the field, though. So the Giants replaced him with a more versatile Javon Holland, and that should help improve Shane Bowen's defense. Now, what's crazy is, again, this is the same guy who just listed him as our biggest loss.
Yeah.
Our biggest loss was a guy that the more he played, the less effective he was. Is anybody else understanding the chaos here?
It's New York media for you.
This is New York. This is the national media. This is the craziness here. But listen, guys, this is what I'm taking this as. This was how good our offseason was. That the best you can come up with to knock it was losing a player that you literally said in your own write-up was seemingly less effective the more he got on the field. And listen, again, I'm not trying to get my high hopes up through this season and say we're going to do anything crazy here, but I do think this was a really good offseason for us on paper. And I think this really, kind of puts an exclamation point on that. Like, they're trying to find, and this was, it wasn't him hating the Giants. Let me be very clear on this. He gave one for every team. But when the best you can come up with is a guy that you're having to give that kind of write-up with, and even say, replace them with the more versatile Javon Holland. Your biggest loss this offseason is a guy you upgraded from that was less effective the more he's on the field. Like, seriously. Oh my gosh. Like, that's great, guys. That's seriously, that's great. If that, listen, we talked about before, like, not like getting hyped up over bogus team lunches and dinners, whatever the hell they had, and breakfast or brunch, whatever they ate. I don't know. But this is something that you got to go in there and go, yeah, that's a good move right there. And I see a Jay there. X was better. Yes, Xavier McKinney was better, but we have 100%. To move on. He's gone. He's gone. Okay. It's like when your wife dies and you get a new one. It may not be as good as the original, but you got a wife.
Sometimes you upgrade.
Oh, we're getting canceled. Anyway, let's pay the bills real quick, and then we're gonna come back and hopefully not tick off more of the small female base we already have to begin with.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
All righty, guys. And I did check. So I had to go into YouTube to check this. Jay's generous gift of the memberships has been officially taken by
Thanks, Jay.
5 new members there. So again, thank you, Jay, for that. Now, if you missed out, you don't have to wait for Jay to buy you one. You could buy one yourself. Like I said, you can go right on the page there on the channel and purchase it there. Again, YouTube is the best way. And I'm going to say it this way, and I said it on somebody else's channel even. Said I'll just say it on ours even. If you care about content creators, and I don't mean to be a jerk when I say it this way, but I'm going to say it this way. If you care about content creators, watch their stuff on YouTube. Because quite frankly, YouTube's the only one that actually pays content creators much for doing anything there whatsoever. So yeah. I'm just gonna say it that way. And I don't mean to be a jerk when I say it that way. I just say, like, I know before we got into this, I didn't think it mattered what platform you watched on. Like, I would have thought, oh, it matters if I watch it on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but YouTube does truly pay content creators tenfold, if not higher. Let's say 100. Probably higher. Like legit. You know,
maybe higher than
about how literally Facebook paid us $1 last month, and we got about 160 from YouTube. So again, it's a pretty significant difference in pay. That's for damn sure. Like I said, I just give people that heads up because I know some people care about making sure that they're actually supporting the people that they like the content of. And I know since I've learned that as a content creator, it's all I watch on is YouTube for stuff now. Point blank, I refuse to watch anything else. So anyway, let's get back into Giants news before I bore people more behind the scenes stuff that they quite frankly don't care about probably too much. So let's talk about Kayvon Thibodeau because he's in kind of a precarious situation here. My Scrabble word for the day, precarious.
Ooh, I like it.
I can't even spell it, to be very frank with you. Anyway, it's being said that Kayvon is stuck in purgatory in New York, which is like a whole Dante's Inferno thing here, it seems like. But this is Buck Brooks of Kayvon's Inferno. Yes, exactly. Buck Brooks of NFL Media said of Kayvon, he said, it's in a confounding group of players that exist in a sort of purgatory state between good and bad, young and old. And honestly, it's probably pretty spot on the way way he's been lately. He goes on to say, as the 5th overall pick in the 2022 NFL draft, Thibodeau is expected to take the league by storm as the explosive pass rushing threat off the edge. Though the 4th-year pro has amassed 21 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, and 46 QB hits in 43 games, the polarizing defender has not blossomed into the game changer some divisions when the Giants added him to a front that desperately needed an impact player on the edge. With Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and 2025 number 3 overall pick Abdul Carter poised to command significant attention from opponents this fall, Thibodeau will have plenty of chances to show off his pass rushing prowess against favorable one-on-one matchups at the point of attack. I mean, I don't really see it as purgatory though. Like I hate, and we've talked about this before, but I feel like there's this like sentiment that like, oh, well, you're a 5th overall pick, so you have to be absolutely amazing. Like it's his fault that he hasn't developed into the player that people thought he was. Like, why don't we blame the scouts? Why don't we blame the team that's maybe not developing him correctly? Because the Giants, let's be honest, do have a history of not doing that well lately.
The coaching staff.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why is this Thibodeau's in some kind of purgatory? First off, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. There are 31 teams in the NFL that if he got cut would gladly take him.
Without a doubt.
Like, people are just pooping on him left and right because he's not quite the player you thought he'd be at pick 5. I get it. Like, has he lived up to that hype? No. Like, I'm not going to say otherwise. But has he played well? Yes. Like, this is a legitimate above average starter in the league.
Yeah.
Starter,
he will.
not star.
Listen, you don't need every starter to be a star. You just need to play above average, and you have a damn good team.
Yeah. And again, I get it. 5th overall pick. You had high hopes from him. Let me ask you this. If he's a bust, what is Evan Neal? Just call it like it is. Like, if he's a bust, what would you call Evan Neal?
Oh, I mean, we were talking about him being a bust and then some.
I feel like there's probably somebody who's responding right now in their room or their car, wherever they're listening or watching, going, POS, all kinds of horrible.
Well, listen, I don't get demonetized on YouTube, so I'm not going to say some of the words I was thinking originally.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I want people to think about that when they think about Thibodeau. Again, has he lived with the hype? No. But it doesn't make him a horrible player. Those are ridiculously high hype that you have when you're the 5th overall pick. Like, anything short of being a Pro Bowler, and not just once, like consistently, is like bad when you're a top 5 pick, basically. But I think, again, 31 of the teams will take him in a heartbeat. And I get what they're saying. The purgatory part is he's not bad. He's not great. He's reaching that age of his career where he's not young anymore because this is going into his 4th year. So you go, okay, well, has he peaked? Is this where he's going to be the rest of his career? But he's also not old. Like, they're not wrong on all that stuff, guys. But here's the crazy thing that people need to remember. The draft. I know, like, we have people in the draft every year now that are like 27, 28 years old, this feels like, because COVID years and all this stuff, and people played forever. Take a wild stab on how old you think Kayvon Thibodeau is. Don't look it up. Wild stab.
He was young. We got him. It's 24.
He's 24, exactly.
Boom.
There are guys his age coming out of the draft right now.
There are older guys coming out of the draft.
And we're not saying they peaked. So why is it Kayvon's peaked?
He hasn't peaked yet. And listen, he had one job on the Wink Martindale.
Oh, he had a lot of jobs at Wink Martindale.
He did. But I'm saying, like, get after the quarterback. Put pressure.
And go ahead and cover people like tight ends and all, and stop the run. And I mean, he had a lot of things. There's a reason why Wink Martindale edge rushers don't typically, have the best relationship. Ask Matt Judon, who became a freaking star once he went to the Patriots.
Yeah. So let's pretty much kind of what it's getting at. It's like now there's new coaching. Did he take a step back last year? Maybe, but like now you're learning a new system. You're learning where you're going now, going forward. Like
Yeah.
he still has a lot of potential. Like you said, there's plenty of kids that came out this year at 24, coming out of the draft, or 23 last year didn't peak because they're 24 now.
Yeah, nobody's talking about them peaking.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time to learn a new system and do his job better.
Now, again, 21 sacks in 43 games, guys. That means he's averaging, if a full season, 8.5 sacks. Let's call it that way. About 8.5 sacks. That's not a bad player, guys. Then throw in the fact that look what happened to the run defense when he left and Azeez Ojulari to take over.
Don the Poopa.
It was horrendous. So I don't know. I just don't like the terms purgatory and stuff like that with him because it's like you don't listen. Take some of the pressure off him. Like you're now part of a defensive pass rush. You got the $30 million man in Brian Burns. You got Dexter Lawrence, the best nose tackle in all of football. You got Abdul Carter, who is, potentially the best prospect out of this entire draft. Though you could have a debate on whether Abdul Carter or Kayvon Thibodeau is a better prospect coming out of the draft, just saying. So I tell people to calm down on Carter too. But I'm just saying, like, now he's part of it. And they mentioned in the article, the one-on-ones. That's a big thing too. He's going to get all one-on-ones because good luck covering that line. And I wonder, and I'm kind of curious to see, and I kind of don't want to see the same point because let's be honest, they kind of whoop our butts lately a lot. I'm curious to see the Eagles and that offensive line and what they do against this pass rush. This is going to be, if it all works out, which let's be honest, for the Giants it never does, but if it does,
I mean, the Eagles is definitely the point.
This is a very formidable defensive line that can get to the quarterback, that can help stop the run, all the things we've been missing now. By adding Jaire Alexander and Abdul Carter to this mix, you just hugely improved. And that's going to help Kayvon not get the double teams. And how many times has he been like a split second away from getting a quarterback? Yeah, we've all seen it. And if you haven't, rewatch the games.
Yeah, he's had an insane amount of pressures against quarterback that we've talked about.
And you're not going to win them all, but unless you play the Commanders.
Yeah. But we've talked about this countless times on the show before, but like sacks, it's a nice number to look at your overall history, like 10 years from now, when 20 years from now, you're not in the league. You look back, oh, look how many sacks this guy had. No one looks at the pressures he put on the quarterback. No one goes, oh, he pressured that quarterback so hard, he made a terrible throw. There's no record for that. But
well, there's hurries, and that's the thing.
But it doesn't account fact that that hurry went into interception. It's not you have to watch tape for that, and
and that's why
right there
again, for all their flaws, why I enjoy looking at some of the PFF grades, because it shows you stuff that I feel like you don't see on the stat lines unless you go into advanced stats and all that stuff, which is what they're doing. So, yeah, not the end all, but it's a nice thing. So like I said, Kayvon, I don't think he's in purgatory. I think they're just looking for some guy. And I get where they're getting at. I think he's a guy who still got some injury issues over the last couple of years. He's still developing. And if he doesn't develop past what he is, that's fine. He's still an above average player in this league. May not be the star we hope we're getting, but he's still an above average. And that's not a bust. A bust is Evan Neal.
Yeah. And then
so a bust is Eric Gray, Josh Azudu, Marcus McKeithen. We've had plenty of busts, guys. Let's leave the one around. Let's leave the one around and leave alone. It's not a bust. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So. All right. Let's get into a fun story. I love the fun stories when they come out.
Ooh.
Chris Canty is apparently having tenant issues. Now, we don't usually talk about players and their businesses after the fact and legal things and all that often, but we do enjoy when it pops up. Just because it's fun, it's a little fly in the wall story. Like you think of Chris Canty since he retired, you think of his time with media and everything he's done there. But listen, he's put, obviously, like most players, he's put money into investments and all. So he bought a building on West 89th Street. I don't know the exact address, so no one go crazy and try to stalk this thing and Google Maps quest it and get involved in this stuff too much here.
I'll be there Thursday.
$5.2 million the building is worth, according to the article I read. $5.2 million. It's a 9-unit building that has one tenant left. Now, here's what the New York Post said. The 6'7", 380-pound. First off, that's what I hate about being a football player. These poor guys, every time they get listed, here's your height and weight. If we leave the man alone, he's 380 pounds back then. Who knows what he weighs now? Anyway.
Hopefully he went down and not up. Seriously.
6'7", 380-pound defensive end wants to transform the 9-unit West 89th Street building into his own luxury townhouse. But 5'6" data analyst Stuart Camelston, I don't even know how to pronounce the last name there, stands in his way. Was it Commonson? What is it? How do you pronounce that last name? Look at the notes. What do you think?
Yeah.
Camelston.
I would say Camelson.
Yeah, it's okay.
Camelson.
It's whatever his name is. Anyway, 59, has lived in his 2-bedroom apartment just steps from Central Park for 19 years, paying $2,600 a month for rent when Canty, who works out of New York City for ESPN and has a home in Hilton Head, South Carolina, bought the building. Camelston has spent more than 2 years without utilities, made it through the winter without heat or hot water, and lived with floors so rotted and chewed through by mice he's been forced to block off about a third of the living room for safety reasons, he claims in court filings. Damn.
Wow.
That's a Lieutenant Damn situation.
Yeah.
Like, so listen, I get it. Like, I think a lot of us are prone to taking the tenant side in these kind of things automatically because we've all had a bad landlord at some point in our life. Or we've all had a scenario we didn't like as a renter at some point in our life, unless you're blessed enough to have enough money to buy a house right away, which if you have, again, there's the QR code to the Buy Me a Coffee. Just saying.
Yeah, please.
But I don't want to go ahead and take the tenant's side automatically because I feel like for all we know, the person's crazy and they just won't leave the place. They're supposed to have left the place. I don't know. It's just interesting because I feel like this is one of those scenarios because of the fact that he's a celebrity. And that's, again, because of his ESPN stuff he does nowadays more than his playing days at this point in his life. But because he's a known person that people know by name, this is something that very well, if it gets ugly, is going to play out very publicly, probably. So if you hadn't heard about it yet, you heard it here first.
Breaking news.
So now legal action has been taken on both sides in this scenario. His tenant said, if I'm entitled to a rent stabilized lease, I don't need to get bullied out of my home by some guy just because he happens to be a football player. Let me just say this first off. And again, there's a lot of ifs in this scenario because it's legal stuff and I don't know I don't pretend to know all the details. But if hypothetically he was bullying you to get you out of your place, it's not because he's a football player, it's because he wants to use the building for something else. Let's be very clear on that.
Yeah.
Like, him being a football player has no difference on this story whatsoever. Plus, he's an ex-football player, not a current one.
Well, I mean, you're talking about just the size difference. I mean, that's what the article really pushed at. Like,
I know,
because
they're trying to do David versus Goliath. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, at the end of the day, it's tenant versus landlord. I mean,
that's exactly what it is.
It's not like Canty's going up there, like, physically, like, trying to, like,
yeah,
dude, bro, get out, bro. Like,
now, on Canty's side, his representatives have claimed that the building is a co-op and not subject to rent stabilization. Now, again, I'm not a New Yorker. I'm a Jersey boy. I don't pretend to know all the differences here in these whole things. But it sounds like, I guess, rent stabilization is one of those gigs I've heard about before where your rent stays the same, basically. Or changes basically with just the thing. Again, I know you're a Jersey guy as well, but somebody wants to correct us in the video if we're wrong and what that is. But I know there's different programs in New York where you can't raise the rates, or you can only raise the rates by a certain amount. Yeah. So it's less than $2,600 for a 2-bedroom apartment.
Listen, what he's talking about, like, there's like You're not in Lower Manhattan. You're like the Upper East. Probably I want to say he's like the Upper
Just
West
steps
side.
from Central Park.
Well, Central Parks.
But I don't care.
all over.
Anytime you're that close to Central Park, that is prime real estate, guys.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, one of those rooms probably go for like $5,000.
Yeah.
So it's literally half what he's getting. So he probably 19 years ago, like he probably got in there at $2,000, which was expensive then.
Okay. Now I'm looking up because again, I don't pretend to know geography of New York extremely well. So if it is just steps away from Central Park, 89th Street, because it is a west, goes parallel like everything else does. It's all a grid system in New York, but it goes where it ends at Central Park. So it must be at the very end of it. So we know exactly where the place actually is just by looking at a map. Craziness there. But yeah, so there's the places. I mean, listen, this is prime real estate, New York, point blank. You're steps away from Central Park, and not only you steps away, but you're like right where the like at 90th is where you can get into the park. So you're 1 block away from the entrance to the park, even not just right there at the park.
Yeah.
You're 1 block to like one of the like the main entrances, if not the main entrance to the park, going around the what's that, a lake or reservoir? I don't know what you want to call that thing in there.
Yeah, the Jacqueline Kennedy Reservoir.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah, the Jacqueline Kennedy.
But it also depends. It's
reservoir.
But you also got to like figure out if he's on the east or the west side.
East side, west side, whoop.
Well, east side or the west side of the park. It's the upper east side, the upper west side. There's central. There's midtown.
I just went to west 89th Street because the other side is east.
West side. Obviously.
So therefore, that's what I'm looking at. That's where it's at. So, he is right by, like, for those who might know the area pretty well, it's right near the Children's Museum in Manhattan, a couple blocks away from that. So, it's like I said, it's a nice area of New York. If you want to live in the city, that's too much for me personally. I wouldn't want to live in the city, but that's just me.
It's not that crazy up there, but yeah,
it's the Upper West Side apparently section.
Yeah,
we're giving too much here. But I'm just saying, like, I get it. Like, if you bought this building and you bought it being told, "Hey, everybody is rented up. Here's their leases. Here's when the leases end," and you're thinking in your head, you paid $5 million. Let's say hypothetically, I don't know what he paid, but it's worth that right now. You pay $5 million for the building, and then you got one guy who's stopping you from making this what you wanted to make it.
And once again, I'm not a lawyer in New York. I'm not in real estate in New York, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of laws like you can't get stuck in a lease, but you also are protected as a tenant when you can't get kicked out. So you could be out of contract, and a lot of places, if you're out of contract, the landlord would be like, "Hey, this is your last month, like unless you want to sign this lease."
I'm just saying, I feel bad for Canty because I get his side.
Yeah, New York, you can't be like some places like in New Jersey, like you're stuck on a renewal. Like, hey, you're signing this amount of time, it's going to renew for a year. New York, that's illegal. There's no contracts in New York goes on auto renew.
And I feel like if hypothetically this guy had a legal claim to this apartment, actual legal lease, well, then they wouldn't allow him to shut off his heat and his water.
Yeah.
Have to fix the floors. Like, all that stuff would be done. So again, I don't know. I don't want to take sides fully on, but I feel like the fact that happened makes me think that this is not that kind of scenario. Because I can't imagine someone of Chris Canty's status in life, meaning like he is like, I don't want to say like an uber celebrity, like people don't necessarily know him right off the bat, but he's a name.
He's definitely.
I don't think he'd open himself up to that kind of lawsuit if he didn't think damn well he was going to win. Neither is Rob. That's why he just left the show. Anyway, let's get on to our next topic here. It's hard enough on the legalities of New York real estate here. Let's talk about Eli Manning, who was recently on a podcast. No, not our podcast, though. Eli is definitely, happy to have him on if he ever wants to come on. Oops, I got called Rob there about my thing here because I hit the wrong button. So Eli appeared on the Glue Guys podcast. Now, listen, I never heard of that podcast personally. Everybody has a podcast nowadays. That's just the way it is. Even we have one apparently. So It's hosted by Alex Smith, obviously the former quarterback, Shane Battier, the former basketball player, and Ravi Gupta. And the three of them basically interview people from the sports world. And they interviewed Eli Manning there. And he revisited the benching of Geno Smith. Benching of him in favor of Geno Smith by then head coach Ben McAdoo. And he gave a lot of analysis into it. I thought was kind of interesting, meaning like not necessarily like what went down and how it went down, but more like how he himself was feeling. I thought that was different. He said, it was tough. You see the end coming, and you don't know if it's the end of your career. Is that your last game ever? It's a lot of tears. It hurts. It hurts a lot because of what you put into what the game means to you, what your teammates mean to you. And I thought that was kind of interesting because it's a lot more of an emotional response than you should get from Eli. Like Eli's pretty close guarded with how he feels publicly into the media. Like you listen to people that know him well, and he's a jokester. He's a guy who messes around with people, and has a lot of personality. But in the public, you don't necessarily see it. So I'm glad he kind of put that there if that's where he feels like. I mean, he can feel whatever he wants to feel. It's his feelings. It was his bad moment, if you want to say. I don't know what verbiage you want to use on that, but his bad moment in getting benched for a guy that, quite frankly, couldn't hold his jockstrap at the time. So, again, very sad moment for, I think, all of us as Giant fans as well. I remember very clearly when it was happening, and I was pissed off at the time. Again, not because we benched Eli, but because of who we benched Eli for. If there was somebody significantly better that you wanted to bench Eli for, it would have made sense. I would have gotten it. I would have understood it. But don't tell me for a second Geno Smith was better than Eli Manning. That's just talk. That's just crazy talk. And the fact that years later, Eli's on a podcast talking about it in a very emotional way, says what it meant to him. Ended his streak, obviously his Iron Man streak. It ended, his.
It was like the start of his downfall of his career.
It really was. I mean, don't get me wrong, he wasn't playing great that year to begin with, and I'm not trying to make it seem like Eli was his prime and they benched him and blamed it all on him. Like, let's be very frank, Eli was on the downswing at that point.
Yeah, but that's what exacerbated like that.
I think it killed some of his confidence. I really do.
Yeah, 100% did.
Listen, it would kill my confidence. I got benched for Geno Smith. Okay,
especially
keep in mind,
Geno Smith. It's not Geno
Jets.
Smith, the Seahawks.
Exactly. This is not the Seahawks version. This is the Jets version.
Yeah,
getting punched by teammates, not paying back.
That, literally,
rides.
Right? He didn't go anywhere else. It was like where he was sat behind one of the.
I think he was somewhere else in between. I have to look up his whole thing because Geno Smith, I feel like played. He was
on like 8 other teams before he settled in Seahawks.
17 of the teams. Oh no, it was actually right from the Jets to the Giants. I was wrong. Happens once in a while.
Yeah. So and it's like that 100% kills your confidence, and then like that's his only start as a Giant. Did ruin the career. Not I don't want to say ruin his career. Like you said,
but it ruined the streak he had, which was something that's very important to him and very important to Giants fans, even too. Like, don't get me wrong, much more important to Eli than it was to us. But that was like a thing for us. Like, look at this: this quarterback's played every single game since he started in 2004, and now it's 2017. It was
16, 17.
Yeah, and that's big. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. So again, I still feel bad for him, and I feel bad that it's still something he looks back at like that. Like you should never, that's just crazy. So, alrighty, we got one more topic here for you guys. As Jay is booing people in the chat now. Jay, they went back to Twitter. We actually gained followers since you did that on YouTube and overall, and they've just moved back to their usual platform. Apparently, they took advantage of your generosity and then moved on. Anyway,
like the girl who took the prom.
We got 2 former Giants. We got to ask: are they primed and ready for a return to the NFL? And listen, we just had the end of the UFL season there. And there's two guys that did pretty decent for themselves in the UFL. And one of them got talked about last year as a guy who might return to the NFL. And one of them's now joined those talks. So the first one is the guy from last year, DeAndre Baker, obviously former first-round pick by the Giants, which is just embarrassing to say so since he only lasted 1 year with the Giants and apparently refused to do any, homework, film watching, playbook learning, anything like that whatsoever. Why is Jay obsessed with her eating habits? He goes to the Golden Corral. He enjoys the Golden Corral. It's okay. But DeAndre Baker was again with the DC Defenders this year. He's now 27 years old. This past year, 8 games, 22 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, 10 passes deflected, and now back-to-back all UFL honors. Allowed a 70.5 QB rating when targeted overall, 6th best in the UFL. So, again, he's elite in the UFL. Tay Crowder is the other one who was played this year with the Birmingham Stallions, his first season in the UFL, just 28 years old still, 10 games, 38 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, 4 passes deflected, and 2 fumble recoveries. Let's just say this. 38 tackles in 10 games. We just take Crowder off the list of people that might get back in the NFL. Like, I don't mean to be disrespectful about it. Like, that doesn't scream, ooh, you must make it back to the NFL. Like,
well, T. Crowder's getting up there. He's
28. Getting up there.
He's getting up there. Listen,
that's the prime. That's the prime years.
Oh, listen, he was never at a prime state to begin with. Like, don't tell me 28's prime, but
it is prime. Whether or not he has a good prime is one thing, but it is a prime period.
It's also a downward spot for a lot of people in his position.
A linebacker? I mean, to me, that's prime time there at that point, because you got the combination of getting some of the best athleticism you'll ever get, along with being in football long enough and the NFL long enough to go ahead and actually have the mind to go with it too. But Tay Crowder, let's be honest, with his tweeting he did right before we had to cut him, just shows he never had the mind. Yeah. He was literally on Twitter. I remember that. I think it was called Twitter still back then. But he was on there, like, literally asking to be released publicly. Like, you got released. How'd that work for you?
Yeah. UFL.
And listen, again, he's 28 now. So back then was 3-4 years ago. So he's, listen, he was, I want to say a kid, but he was a young adult at the time.
Yeah.
Made some poor decisions. We've all been there. I definitely made poor decisions when I was a young adult. Most of them involve food or women, but just what it is.
Yeah.
And, that's, if I got judged based on what I did publicly years later, I'd probably be in trouble. So I don't want to be that guy and hold everything against him either. Maybe he grew up, maybe matured, but 10 games, 38 tackles. You're not going to the NFL like that.
No.
Now, DeAndre Baker, we talked about it last year. All UFL honors. He did get a tryout, I believe, with the Cowboys as well last year. If I remember right, we talked about that. So that'd be someone who I could see potentially getting a shot in training camp there. But I think the big thing with him isn't even his play. Quite frankly, I think he would still be in the NFL if he wasn't for the off-the-field issues. The whole, incident in South Florida after his rookie year, and there was all kinds of issues. Remember, there's guns involved, and then there's people that said things and then magically changed their whole stories together.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, definitely wasn't any money involved in that. But but then he also had a chance with the Chiefs and didn't succeed. And that's a place where everybody does succeed.
Which is hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, leave it to the ex-Giants like DeAndre Baker and Kadarius Toney not to succeed with the Chiefs. So you could argue Toney had some success because what he did in that first Super Bowl with them there. Like I said,
you could argue.
To me, both of them, like I said, I think both of them they're done. They had their chance, and unfortunately, maturity killed it for them. I wish them the best. I hope they have a long career in the UFL and get to enjoy it. Because listen, if I was a player and this is what I did for a living, and this is what I enjoy doing, and that's what I have my options of doing, I'd be happy to go ahead and get the chance to go ahead and just play the UFL still. At least I'm still playing football somewhere.
Yeah, and you're still getting paid better than most
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
go
I mean, I'm
work
not sure
day
about
in,
better
day
than
out.
most people. What's their salaries? I think it's all like set, like they all get like the same amount of money.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it?
Yes. So 62,000 a year.
Oh, never mind. I take that back.
Yeah. I'm just saying. So not exactly getting paid more than most people. I hope not. I hope
Yeah.
more people are getting paid more than that. It's going up to 64,000 next year. So listen, it's not horrible money either, though.
No, it's
Especially
not.
when
But it's
you're-
also
But especially when
Pretty
you're already working for, it's 10-game season. I mean, I don't know what their off season like and stuff like that, but I have to imagine it's not the same as the NFL is, where they can go work a job for 6 months somewhere else and get a decent living and still hopefully get a shot to get in the NFL potentially for some of these guys.
yeah, but some of these guys, you go become content creators, you could just do whatever where they make it
Yeah.
actually side money. But listen, 6'2", like especially,
And they get health insurance.
yeah, I was supposed to say when you're playing up
Oh,
north,
yeah.
you play up north, cost of living's a little different.
I know, and that's why you want to live somewhere cheap and that kind of thing, but it is what it is. So, all right, we're going to head on out here in a minute here. I do see a couple of comments here that aren't just Jay making fun of us. So,
Or me.
Yeah.
But yes, I do cook. Hey, Jay, you got a vacuum?
He's asking you to sell him one. He's
Yeah,
point
so
blank
you
asking,
have
sell
vacuum?
me a
Yeah.
vacuum. He's like, sell
Does
me
it
a-
suck like you?
Whoa! Oh, damn! Shots fired!
Ah!
Shots
Ah!
fired! He's gonna take back those gifted memberships now. Anyway, Oscar says, "Well, Jaire are the Giants' top 5 defensive team. I don't think it makes them any better. I really don't. I said kind of before. I don't think it's a spot I would go. I really don't think it's a better team with having him because he's hurt half the year anyway. Now, for the games he's healthy, are we better? Yeah, but then we stunted the growth of somebody else in the process to do it.
You're gonna have to take him like as a backup, which is crazy.
Well, you wouldn't take him as a backup. You'd have somebody else as a backup when he's healthy. It's just you have to understand he's going to be not healthy a lot because that's what he is.
Yeah, it's hard.
So, let's see other comments here. Jay did ask, "What is your favorite '90s song?"
What is it, Drew?
Oh, I thought you were going to go first. I'm going to go Black Hole Sun, Soundgarden.
Oh,
I'm a big Chris Cornell fan.
listen, there's a lot of good ones, but I might have to go One Hit Wonder, Chumbawamba, Piss the Night Away.
Chumbawamba. Wow, that's where we're going here. That's where we're going.
I get knocked down,
Oh my god!
but I get up again. Yeah, California Lovin'.
And Joey DeLucas says, "Let's go NYG." There we go. Like I said, it's nice to see some Giant fans positive. Again, just don't be positive because of the fact that team went out to dinner. That's all I ask. That's not a reason to be positive. So,
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll be back again for you guys Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't usually say ahead of time that this is definitely going to happen, just in case something happens in life and people have things that pop up and change. We're going to have a guest on Wednesday. This is actually news even to Rob. I didn't tell him that yet. So I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'll just tell you.
No name dropping tonight, Jay.
I will just say it's a sneaky good guess. That's all I'm going to say. So, like I said, we'll have Jesus name dropping. Nope, not going to do it.
No, sir. Not gonna do
if you
it.
want to know who it is, just pop in Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter/X, Twitch, Kick, or Rob's favorite
Drew's like it for a while.
LinkedIn profile. As Oscar says, which free agent do you think you guys should think they should go after? Like I said, Gabe Davis is the only one I'd be interested in, and that's not a must-have for me.
No,
not a must-have.
I was about to say.
You want to get minimum deal, bring him to camp, and see what you got. Go for it.
Listen, Gabe Davis to me is like picking up Singletary.
Yeah.
It's like he's had some, yes, he's got some numbers. He's had a decent career. He's not going to be a game changer.
Let's say the Jaguars cut him. the Jaguars.
The
Just
skip
saying.
for the Bills.
Just saying. Jay says, drop like it's hot. And we say,
Drop like it's hot.
Snoop. Anyway, guys, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms as well as Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones there. So if you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share button there. And we also, of course, have for you guys now new thing, because listen, I got to thank someone for pointing out our stupidity. So I know it doesn't take much to point out our stupidity at times. We had Jarrett Farina 9541. I'll give him a little shout out there. He said, "You guys really do suck at marketing. I want to buy something from your shop, but I can't find a link anywhere." So we will now be adding the link to our shop and everything at the end of the description of every single episode, video, and because listen, he's 100% right. Like, that's shame on us for not doing that. So, and he did purchase a cup from us as well. So thank you for that.
So, kudos, thank you.
But like I said, I did put that on there now. So we do have that on all the stuff there. And again, stupid us for not having it. We'll make sure to have it on the audio stuff as well. So again, appreciate you guys for watching, for listening, for spending some time with us here. We'll see you guys again Wednesday with our sneaky good guests as well that we're going to have on Wednesday. And appreciate you guys for listening as always. And as always, Giant fans, go G-Man! Go G-Man! G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you.